Okie dokes. Let's get started.
Okay.
Heroldene, alrighty, you run a company called Shofar Books.
Correct, yes.
And Shofar, I said to my wife, Shofar, show good. But, that's always my joke with Shofar. But the books and whatever else, this is a massive industry.
Yes.
You see the likes of the Penguins and all these other massive guys, and
Yeah.
here you come, independent publisher / author helper,
Yes.
and whatnot. What's the aim? Let's get a quick, nice round of what your business does, and then we can dive into your story a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I'm so grateful to be here. Shofar Books is just, I would say it's a publishing house for self-published authors and established authors, but it's also a home, a place. The graveyards are full of great stories. Shofar can be full of amazing stories and make use of it while we are still alive. And Shofar Books is just a place where we herald your stories and things that you are carrying in your heart and your mind forever. It's a place where you can lay it out and just be free from all these heaviness that you carry.
That is fantastic. So you're helping people that maybe don't necessarily have the knowledge or the skills or the whatever it is to be able to publish their own books.
Yes,
And I'm assuming you coach people through this process and whatnot?
I do. Yes. The people, the authors and the clients that comes to Shofar, they either have degrees and diplomas in education, and some of them have nothing. Some of them never even finished school, but they have a story and they are great speakers. Not everyone is so equipped, and skilled. So it's a variety of people that comes to Shofar, because they feel that it's a home where they can just be free. You don't need to copy anyone. You can just be you and be free and know that no one will steal your story, because you and I might have gone through the same phase or experience, but our stories will be told differently.
No, absolutely. I think I look at, not everyone I know, but a good chunk of the people I know, I think all style themselves as I want to write a book one day. I mean, I look at my mom, and my mom's got this great story, her whole life, and we fostered kids from welfare, and we looked after these babies and whatnot. And so, I mean, she has some kind of aspiration. I know she's been writing this stuff down. And then, every mother, and I think every mother wants to do a cookbook. Because they got the recipes,
Yes.
they got the family stuff that's
Exactly.
handed down, and what I mean. And I send messages to my mom all the time. I'm like, hey Ma, that recipe that Granny used to make, can you send it to
Yes.
me? And then we sort of not spell her out, but we say to her, hey,
Yeah.
why haven't you written this all out? You're retired. You've got all the time in the world. Why aren't you typing this thing out?
Yeah.
Oh, my boy, I don't know. But I think everyone wants to write a book. It's an
Yes.
exciting kind of thing. You get your voice heard or your story told.
It's a type of legacy that you cannot. It's different from when you leave a house for a child or money or experiences. But when you are gone, what are you wishing to still have in front of you? It's the words spoken from the beloved that is no longer. And for me, it is leaving legacies, not just for our next generation, but for the generations that's coming after them. And for me, it's a perfect way to leave a legacy. And that's why you cannot carry, our organs are not designed to carry so many stories and ideas within us. We need to give birth to it. And for me, I call myself the midwife of books, because it's a baby that you are carrying forever, not 9 months, but forever. And then you need that person, that expert, to actually help you to give birth to it and coach you through the story, the process. And for me, that is how I see myself, as not really as a publisher, but as your partner, as a person to help you give birth, because that is your baby at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's your
absolutely.
child, and you need to grow in literature, not just to publish it, but also to print it, to talk about your story, and to sell your book.
What are the, I mean, if you were to give me 8 steps to writing a book and to going from, I'm Des. I have this idea. I want to do Grow a Pair, the book. What's the process? Where do I start? Should I come to you ready, prepared with stacks of paper, or are you going to guide me through the process? What if we had, I don't know, 8 or 10 or 5 or 2 or 3 steps to writing
Yeah.
and publishing a book? What's the process there?
Many authors comes to me or writers comes to me and say, Heroldene, I don't have inspiration. I just want to write. I really have the story. My advice, the first advice is that I always give, just write. You have it in your mind. You're going to look for a time or a place to feel inspired. You're going to look for a tip here and there. But what you have currently, just journal it, write it down. Because from one word comes a sentence, and from the sentence comes a paragraph, and it goes on to a page. You will never find the right time. It must be like a job, like a goal. Today I'm going to have self-care. I'm going to do this and that. Same as this. Today I'm going to do research on my book. Today I'm going to put out a map of what I want to write about. It's never going to be easy. Because when you do write stories about your past or things that you overcame or survived, you need to relive that feeling again, that moment in time. And when it's about nice stuff like cookbooks, as you mentioned, and poetry and about life and activism, when you don't tell the story in your face, I will write a poem about it. When you have those type of books that you want to write, it's only good to be I'm normally inspired by life, things that I see around, how people respond to given situations. I write personally in my own capacity as an author about how I have overcome something that was supposed to really kill me or harm me, but knowing that I have overcame it, I'm going to tell the process of how I overcame it, that I was persistent, I have perseverance, and I go for it. So it's never a right time. The right time is when you sit and you make that decision.
So they say, what is the famous saying? The best time to plant a tree is 4 years ago. The second best time is right now.
I love that.
Okay, so step 1, we are get going, just start journaling, writing it out and whatnot. What's step 2? Where do we go to from there?
Once you have a layout, or maybe you don't have a layout, you come, we sit, I listen to what you have to say, what your idea is, who your target audience will be. And once we have those little things, we then coach you through the process of how to write creatively, and also in your own language, preferably, because we are multicultural society, and we were raised different how to speak. Like me, for instance, I speak Mengels, Afrikaans and English. Whatever I can express me better, it will be in Afrikaans of English. So to express yourself in that way, if you want to write lekker instead of lekker,
this is the we can go here, right? This is the cook sister thing.
Yes.
Now you want to see the biggest fight between my wife and myself, right? And the fact that I say this is the biggest fight is great because it's not. It shows my marriage is good. But so my wife is a colored girl, right?
Okay.
And so I love culture. So I used to live in Natal. I've had a few Indian girlfriends in my life. So I dove into the Indian culture and I cooked curries and all this kind of jazz, right? And and then I came to Cape Town and I met this bombshell, beautiful girl, and I was like, thank you, I'll marry you. I want to take you. But now you get into relationships and these things come up sometimes.
Yes.
So we go, oh babe, you know what? I'm keen on some cook sisters. That's what I tell her, right? And she goes, "You mean cook sisters?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, not the Afrikaans platted ones.
Yes.
I want the colored,
Yes.
the pastry round, the ones with the coconut. She goes, "That's a cook sister," and I'm like, no. So we've got this ongoing. So every time we go to a shop and it says cook sister, but it's like the colored version.
Yes.
Then I look and I take a photograph, and she'll take a photograph and say, see, and then if I see it the other way around, I go, see.
My husband is from Congo, and he will ask me, why is cook sister? Where's cook brother then?
Yeah, why are you so sexist? But it's those little cultural changes, like you mentioned. You talk a certain way.
Yes.
You orate your words a certain way or whatever else. So like for me, I maybe I don't speak Mengels,
Yeah.
but culturally, I'm a big mix. I've
Yes.
got Afrikaans in my family. I've got some German. I've got friends of mine who are like Muslim Indian who play
Yes.
such a huge
Yes.
role in my life.
I love that.
I've got my brother-in-law, my extended family are colored. You know, like, and it's this great mix. And it's like you say, it's
It's
unique.
so rich.
Yeah, it's rich and it's tasty, is what it is.
Yes.
It's got a little bit of masala mixed in, a little
Yes.
mixed masala inside there.
I
You know?
like that.
But the thing that got me, what you were saying, is that you're wanting people to write in their own languages, write in their own culture,
Yes.
almost.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if you say lekker, or if you say lekker, you know, or if you're going to the spa or the spar,
Yeah.
you know, it's. I get that, because you get that ownership from the reader.
Yeah.
The reader feels embraced
Yeah.
a little bit on that.
Absolutely. And I think it's a lot of people can connect to the reader, to the writer, because we always try to be someone else, and you change so much of you, unless it's going to improve you and you want to be in a certain way or speak in a certain way. But it's nothing more. I think for me, it's a platform of being free. It's freedom where you can be yourself. You don't need to speak or sound like other people. I remember when I was in school, I was at Chapman High, and I was in Afrikaans class, and I despised English children because they would laugh at us Afrikaans children when we speak English, because English was not my language. But later, I realized I was working in the human rights sector, and I realized I looked at people who embrace the language, their culture, how they speak, how they dress, and I think with that, I learned so much. And in Afrikaans, it's like, ek het my osself ontdooi. So
That's delicious. Ooh, it's like that wimpy ad. I love it when you talk foreign. But yes, I love it when you talk local.
So I have just unlearned all those habits
Yeah.
and things just to be liked or understood or listened to. So now I'm free. Ek praat wat ek praat en hoe ek praat, and I'm just me. And I love to bring that out from the authors as well, as long, because we all have our different fans and people that we want to reach with our writing and our stories. So just be you and let it be.
I think this is a great thing you're doing. So we met at the Better Belleville Business. What is it? The Belleville Business Expo.
Belleville, yeah.
There were too many B's. I almost go triple B E, and
I
then I want
like
to add a Better Belleville Business Expo and another E, but not
yes,
right.
yes.
But and you guys were sort of right behind my stand for my IT company, and I got to see you guys operate and talking. I got to meet one of your authors.
Yes.
I think I still took a couple of photos for him because he was on
Yes,
the stage,
yes.
and I was like, no, let's get him framed right.
Wow.
And and I look at it and I go, so for myself, let's say I collect culture. I love it. I want to go to a place and experience the culture and the whatever else. Now, there's some ways you can do it. Like for me, I just go and walk in somewhere. Hello, that's me. I'm not going or whatever else. But I think through these books, you can sort of get a very unapologetic view from the author. And obviously, you don't want people coming across with any kind of, ooh, we hate this or we don't like that. But I think there's still also space to be like, here is what I've got. Here's what I believe.
Yes.
Here's why I believe it. So like for myself, I'm 6'1", beard, tattoos. People look at me and go, it's a scary guy, And I see the way, like I walk through a mall and I've got purpose. But deep down, I'm a very friendly guy. I've got my opinions and some of them are very harsh, I'm like, well, no, this is good for the world. So This is where I stand. Is this a platform? You spoke activism. South Africa, goodness gracious, we are like the mixing bowl for it.
Exactly.
And we've got this great, 11 or 12 national languages, including sign language.
Yes, correct.
We've got how many cultures? I don't know, because we've got probably 15 different, ethnic cultures.
Yes.
That's just the South African ones. Never mind. Now we've got the Malawians here. We've got Zimbabweans here. We've got people from the Congo,
and blended families.
Blended families.
Yes, married from different continents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a thing. Are you angling towards pushing that kind of content, or you were just like, no, I just want everything that there is to be? Because I've heard you say the activism thing a couple of times. When we had met, you had spoken about it, and your story is also, the tidbits that I've heard, is harsh. You came out of hell, effectively,
correct.
if I remember correctly.
100%.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just woven this whole.
If you are born in any part of Africa, you are an African.
Oh, I like that.
So, how you see me, if you see me by my color or how I speak, then we don't see each other in a spiritual manner. Then, you want to see me or be in a certain way, the way you want me to be. And I think when we forget about our like all these backgrounds, we are one. Because when you cut me, our blood's going to be the same,
red,
you know.
Absolutely.
So ons is net different gepluister. The makeup and the, you know,
it's just that they use a different shade of Plascon.
Yes.
That's all it was.
Yes, because when God sees us, He sees us as one. He sees us as His children, and there's no discrimination. There's no inequality. We are all equal. And for me, that is my to go to know that you're my brother, even though I don't know you. You know, we were created by the same hands. So for me, that is very I'm open to collaborate. We already started with publishing authors from different continents, African continents, and even South Africans who are now in other overseas. We are still very rich with stories. Even if you're on the other side of the world, you will always have that desire just to be original, and to be you. And our stories must be the same. If you walk into bookshops, and I don't want to mention any names, but if you walk into bookshops, you see how society formed us or want us to be. You must write in a certain way. You must have this in a certain way. But there's nothing more like the poet. There is a poetic justice to stand in front of a mic or a stage and speak your heart, your mind, and become naked on the floor, you know, with your words, and empty it. It's the same when you're writing. Embrace our culture, not just by appreciating, you know, respecting you, and you know, have that diversity, but it is important to stand and also look at the other person, male or female, doesn't matter the color or race. We are one. We are Africans. Maak nie saak wat nie. And when we can be original and just write those stories, look in the bookshops, look in places, there's no reading culture. People are just loving by people go into technique and understand. It's nice to read our digital platforms, but there's nothing for me personally. Others can differ with me, and that's fine. I respect you.
And that's the great thing, is we can. I mean, I've learned. I try my best to read. I've got my books up on the shelf here, and you know, I'm
God.
and I'm
love
reading.
it.
You know, I'm sitting at home. I'm busy at the moment going through, I think it's 47 or 41 rules of power. Well, it shows I'm not paying attention, but I'm reading a bit. I'm reading another book in sales. I'm reading another book in networking. Books are just, let's say, readers are leaders.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
And what truth is in that, for me at least. And I used to have this huge bookshelf because I was homeschooled, and the curriculum that we used for most of high school was a reading curriculum. So there was like 300 or 400 odd books that we tore through over the space of like 3 years or something. You know, so it was like three, maybe 4 years, and I mean, I read about so much. There was history, and there's culture, and there's people, and opinions I disagree with. You know, opinions that I agree with. And
yes.
all
that
of this
makes
is
it so
lovely
beautiful.
mingelmoes of, of stuff. And you can learn. I mean, I don't know how to motivate people to read more. Like outside of just going, read. You'll see. It's like exercise, you know?
Yeah.
Go for that 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
It's good for you. Read. It's good for you, you know?
And just yesterday I was in Sea Point, and I was just watching the waves, sitting in the car, and a story came up to me, you know, letting go and embracing the new, just like the waves comes and goes. And it just came in. I was so inspired to write immediately when I got home. But I write wherever I write. I have a notebook wherever I am, in my car, by my bedside, in the lounge, in my bag. When I don't have any pen or paper with me, I do write on my phone, on my notepad, and just send it to my email and so forth. But I write every day. I'm inspired by anything.
I after sort of sitting in front of you guys at that expo, I went and I don't know if you got the goodie pack that Nadia came and brought around. It was a little bag, and there was a notebook inside there. And that notebook now, I've got my laptop bag is down there, and I'm jotting stuff now. Just
Thank you.
like jotting, and I'm looking at it going, because I was like, yo, I've always wanted to write a book. So I wanted to write like a novel, kind of a cross between anime and a novel kind of thing. That was always my dream when I was in my early 20s, wet behind the ears, didn't know anything better. And that was always my dream, not dream, but one of. I'm one of these guys who are like, I want to do everything or a little bit.
Yeah.
And I gave that one up, but now with like the podcast, now I want to write something to help people.
Ooh.
Now I want to take what I'm getting out of you, what I've got last week out of my guest, and 30 weeks ago out of my other guests. I want to now be able to take that information somehow, and this is probably going to be in a few years only, because I need to get all the information out of people, and then I want to write something, and that thing of start, that's the huge one, and that's like my message to most people when I talk to people, or if I coach sales guys and that kind of thing every now and again. And also, the first thing you do is just start.
Yes, absolutely. Doesn't matter where, just start. Because it is opposite of a volcano. The moment there's a spark, and then the rest will come. We are like heat coals inside of us. We just needed one person to switch on that light, to spark that fire, and you will see amazing. And you can even surprise yourself by the different genres. I love the authors. There's one author, his name is Ibrahim Samuddin. He's written a novel, Dr. Mars, and he's a scientist, so he went further into the beginner's, beginner's guide, what bees can do for your health, is educational book, and then he started writing poetry, and he's just evolving and growing into a writer who can write now almost every genre that there is, and that is. You can surprise yourself when you start something. But I can actually do this. I can do that. My next thing, I've written 9 books so far. And my next book, I really, really would love to write a novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are the second author that I've had on the podcast. Yeah. So I think his name was Carl Giantchis. He came on. He's like a serial writer. And he does fiction, I think.
Okay.
Mostly fiction. But he sat right where you are, and I was like, I've written like 16 books. I'm like, no, Chana, where do you find the time to make money, to write books, to all of this kind of nonsense? Because I look at my life and I go, sheesh, if I can carve 30 minutes out of my life just to go,
yes,
it's a lot,
It is.
So a little bit of perseverance, a little bit of hard-headedness needed to get it done, a little bit of, I don't know, accountability maybe.
Yeah, I think when you have a passion for something, there was one lady at the expo who spoke about the McDonald's. When you have a passion, you must sell your passion. I think when you really love something, you don't work a day in your life, because giving birth and helping, informing and growing and bringing something out that the world don't know is something extraordinary. So extraordinary things needs extra time and a lot of extra. So I sleep less. I sleep very little. It's like sleeping is a waste. I need to do this and I need to do that. But it's also necessary, because I cannot give birth or bring anything out if I'm not rested and I'm not motivated. So self-care is utterly important. But I think one of the things that for me as a writer, I write. I don't write every day. In the beginning I did. I think wherever I can get inspiration from, I make note of those things. And I think my besides being a publisher, I'm a writer first. So I've established quite I actually achieved quite a lot of great things. and I carry all these knowledge and skills with me, and it's not nice when you see someone is really pulling hard, hulle trek so hard. I want to help you, so, and that is why I give more of myself to others than I actually give to do for myself right now, because I'm at that stage.
Yeah.
But when I feel dry and I there's no more motivation to give, I do go back into my corner, rejuvenate, revive. I go on holidays, and I do just spend time with my family, watch a movie on Netflix or what. It's stuff that I do for myself when I have nothing to give anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is fantastic. Okay, I'll ask every single person that comes onto my podcast one very specific question. It's
Okay.
everyone, and well, I started it way back, but like halfway through where I am now. What does growing a pair mean to you?
Daar is nou 'n lekker vraag. Growing a pair for me, is it a business or is it
Well,
just
that's the
just a
podcast.
question?
No, that's for you. So for me, the podcast is growing a pair, or
Okay.
grow a pair at least.
All
and
right.
and so my aim for this is to motivate people.
All right.
So for you, I ask people because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like when someone says to you, or if you say to someone, so like when I'm talk to people, I go, hey man, come on, grow a pair. And they go, and what I mean is stand up, get it done, like go be a man, be a
Yes.
woman, go and do that thing,
Yeah. I think for me it would be since the day I met you, it would be grow a pair means obviously you and another person or another thing. You cannot achieve anything by yourself. You need another person. For instance, where we are now, this is my second podcast, or my first in studio podcast that I've ever done in my life. This is my first experience, and thank God for the Melville Expo. They made it happen. So growing a pair for me would be wherever I want to be, I need you or another person to get me to that place.
Okay, so we're talking community here, we're talking network,
Yes.
we're talking, I 100% agree with you. I think it's very important. You went to that expo for a reason.
Yeah.
You wanted to get your company out there.
Yes.
You want to sell books or sell your
Absolutely.
service. And
Yeah.
and 100%, and then we heard from Annie Olifua. She was my most previous guest, and she spoke there as well,
Okay.
talking about your story and tell your story and
Yeah.
do that. That's how you sell. And so I can see how that works. That's fantastic. If people want to find you, where do they find you to be able to now talk to you about, well, either looking at your books,
Yeah.
or here's all Frikkie, and Frikkie, once he's decided, I want to get out of Brackpan and I am going to write a book and become famous on this book. Where do we find you?
We have a website. It's www.shofarbooks.co.za. It's quite active. We have a lot of services and events that we do, and then we also have a Facebook page,
Lovely.
Shofar Books, and you will see all the work that we do, the books that we release on a weekly basis, and we are off to the Eastern Cape. We will be crowned 50 authors, not just authors but literary artists, at the first Eastern Cape Literary Awards,
Oh, there we go.
and in Makanda, previously called Grahamstown.
Have they changed Grahamstown?
Yes.
You see how I'm so far behind on this. I just got used to Qabecha or whatever. I just got used to that one.
Yes, absolutely. So we started with the Cape Flats Literary Awards in April this year. And our desire or goal, or I would say vision, my vision that God gave me, was to go to every province and acknowledge and recognize literary artists, whether you are a researcher, journalist, a poet, administrator, you write speeches and things like that for your boss, is to acknowledge and recognize them, that I see you. I see you. The government is busy with a lot of projects, and we expect government to do a lot of things for us while we have all the capacity, while we have all the gifts. And again, growing a pair, partnerships. I am partnering with a lot of companies and government departments to help me give birth to this vision of acknowledging and recognizing literary artists.
That is fantastic. Heroldene, I just want to say thank you for coming out early on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
I know you had to leave your daughter at home and say, Mommy, where you going? And all of that. But thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it was an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
It's really good.
I was looking forward. My voice is still waking up. You can hear.
Oh, it's all right. On podcast, the deeper it is, the better. So that morning voice works.
Wow. I'm grateful and I'm honored. Thank you.
Fantastic. Cool. We'll put all of your details into the description and whatnot,
Yes.
and then we'll do all of that so people can find you. But
Fantastic.
yeah, good luck in the future. I'm really stoked that you're going out there and you're pushing hard to just sort of elevate, people and
Yeah.
authors and South African culture and all of these
Yeah.
kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I think that recognition that you're doing for people, for authors and for
Yes.
scholars and whatnot, I think that's important.
Yeah,
People need to be
absolutely.
recognized for what they do.
There's just one last thing that it's been on my mind for the past 4 days, is that you don't need to have a book shop or to be able to sell books. Set up. You don't even need to sell books, but once you see a book, like me, I go in the shop, I will buy the book, but then I will take 3 months to read that book. Just embrace that culture, start that culture of seeing books in wherever you are, whatever business, even a bridal shop. Make sure there are books, magazines, books, whatever, and that will make my heart happy. That people becoming more aware that we need to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you heard it here, folks. Make Heroldene happy. Go read a book. Lekker, guys. Cheers.
Bye.